Hey friend, in this video, if you're an artist, designer, photographer, even any type of creative business owner, or you think you want to start a creative business, I am going to give you the actual inside tips on how I grew my business from a side hustle, from my kitchen table hobby type business to a thriving six-figure stationery business 2 years into my business. Business is the hot word, I guess. But 2 years after starting my business, I was able to scale and make 6 figures within my business, all from these steps. I go into way more detail on the steps within a podcast episode that I dropped on my podcast. We'll link it below. Make sure you check it out. But the three to get you started, if you're wanting to actually take your business serious and hit that next revenue mark for your business, tip number 1 for you is going to be master your craft. So I know this is annoying. People tell you to practice all of the time. But this mainly when it comes to business applies to your mistakes that you're making. So every brand new business owner is going to make mistakes. I made a slew of them. Make sure you check out the episode to hear about some. But instead of throwing in the towel or saying, I don't belong here, and giving into that imposter syndrome voice, if you really want to grow your impact, grow your revenue, and stick with this creative entrepreneurship thing, you've got to take those mistakes as lessons. And those lessons need to be applied to your craft so that you master it and refine it over time. So every brand new business owner is making mistakes. Every brand new marketer, every brand new creative, etc., is making those mistakes. The main difference between the people who get a desk job or go back to their day job or whatever and the people that succeed and reach those 6-figure, 7-figure marks is that they kept showing up. So keep showing up, master your craft. And everyone, sucks at email marketing at first, or is pulling their hair out when it comes to understanding business entities that you should form, or if you need a business license or not, or when to pay taxes and how much and all of that. We all start there. We all have to figure it out. So just remember, master your craft, and that takes time, and it takes applying your mistakes to your business or your creative endeavors as lessons instead of throwing in the towel and giving up. And then my second tip for you is going to be less is more. Less is not less is actually more when it comes to being able to scale your business. So if you're maybe hovering around the I feel stretched thin and strapped to my desk, and I'm working so hard on these client jobs or these products that I'm doing, whatever, but I'm barely making any money. Like, why is this happening? Probably because it's time for you to go after the phrase that less is more. As a business owner, more is actually not more. I mean, to a certain extent. Obviously, there's a place and time for hustle. There's a place and time for being strapped to your desk because you're building this thing that you built. And I'm not saying don't hustle, because there is a time and a place for that. However, just doing the same thing over and over again for 60 hours, 80 hours a week, and it's not working, it's not working. It's time to step back, maybe say no to a few client jobs, or say no to doing that thing that isn't working or that you're not efficient in, and maybe hiring somebody else to do it if you can. But at least scale back when it comes to spending so much time on your client work, on your custom work, on this or that isn't actually working for your business, so that you can get that time back and really assess where your business needs that extra 10 hours or 5 hours even a week in order to grow and in order to scale to the next level. So less is more. I directly learned this when I was doing wedding stationery. So I grew my wedding stationery business to 6 figures because I was able to, first of all, realize that I was booked and busy, definitely booked and busy. I had 40 wedding clients my second and third year of business. I was strapped to my desk, but I was like, wow, this is amazing. People are booking me. But that's not sustainable. And the reason for being booked so much was because my prices were a very reasonable rate. And so if I wanted to actually grow and hit those revenue marks, I had to sit back, take more time devoted to a smaller list of clients, so that I could raise my prices and provide them with this amazing client experience that I wasn't able to do when I had 40 wedding clients a year because I was so strapped for time already. And so I realized that my time that I was able to pour into the client experience for my clients was really valuable, and I needed to put a price tag on that. And so I increased my prices, and therefore I was able to get my time back and spend way less time strapped to my desk, but also devoting and achieving really great results for my clients. And so that was a great portfolio builder. And just overall, taking on less clients per year was something that was amazing for me. It was what it was able to catapult me into teaching workshops more frequently, teaching online classes, and making and generating more revenue because of that as well. And so for me, in my experience, less was definitely more. I was able to not only take on less clients and feel less overworked, but I was able to provide them with better results, a better end product, which was wedding stationery at the time. And I was able to get more money at the same time because I was raising my prices because my client experience was elevating. My third and final tip for you here is don't let your fear make your decisions. Let it fuel your decisions. This is huge. This was huge for me when I was growing to that next level in my business. I was starting to make a viable business, starting to make decent money in my business. And it was just kind of a place where I felt fear before making that kind of decision to take on less clients. I was afraid that if I raised my prices or if I took on less clients, that I would go out of business and I'd have to go back and get a day job. However, I let that fear fuel me, and I knew in my head that, okay, if it wasn't working, I was gonna come back to the drawing table, make some adjustments, and keep going. But instead of letting that fear hinder me from making my next move or leveling up in my business, I let it fuel me so that I was more tenacious, I was more scrappy, I was pitching my work to people, I was pitching my work to wedding planners, photographers, etc. constantly, and I didn't just let myself stew in this fear of like, I'm raising my prices and I'm taking on less clients. This is scary stuff. I let it drive me, and it made me become more scrappy in going after what I wanted. Instead of letting that fear turn into anxiety and worry, I flipped it around and let it turn into drive and hustle, quote unquote, even though I was definitely working way less because of raising my prices and taking on less clients. So those are my 3 tips for you. I've got a full 2 other tips on my podcast episode. So 5 tips for you for scaling, how I scaled my 6-figure stationery business. So whether you're an artist, illustrator, designer, photographer, it doesn't matter if you have a stationery business or not, these 5 tips are general and can be applied to any type of creative business. So make sure you check out that link, which will be in the description below. I hope you loved this video and that you will hopefully listen to the podcast episode and love it as well. Whatever you're pursuing, my heart and goal for you in releasing these podcast episodes and telling you on our YouTube channel and showing our tutorials, etc., all of the stuff, all of the free content, my heart is to help you grow. I really, really want to see creatives thrive, whether that's if they stay in a hobby or if they go after a business, whatever it is. So I hope that this encourages you throughout the week ahead, that if you are a business owner, that you mull over these 3-5 tips if you listen to the podcast, these tips, and they help encourage you and boost your creativity and your business savvy. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.